multiple deliverables, one day in a working facility. We shot facility B-roll, team and individual portraits, and a walkthrough video with the company president.
I'm here to show you guys around. Let's go.
And I'm gonna break down exactly how we did it. Our client was a large printing company. The key was being fast and nimble, since they had ongoing production while we were there. So it was imperative that our gear wasn't slowing down the shoot, that it was fast, the setups were quick, and the transitions were smooth. Here's the exact setup for this gig. My wife Vanessa rocked the Red Scarlet while I rocked the Nikon ZR. Basically, we were tag teaming roles. She at one point in time was shooting B-roll while I was shooting photos, and then I would jump in with her and shoot a little bit of pickup B-roll shots. The Nikon ZR is so simple to switch back and forth between video and photo. So while I was taking photographs of the facility, I quickly and easily switched to video mode and snagged a couple video shots while I was shooting photos of that specific shot. So before we ever walked into the facility, we had a plan of action. We jotted down the schedule, we went back and forth with the client, and made sure that we were all on the same page. That's the biggest key to showing up before the day, is making sure that your client knows exactly what you're doing. The worst thing in a project is bad communication. If you show up and decide to do what you're thinking in your head to do, but never really discuss or relay that information to the client, they're gonna be just as confused and lost as you are. So make sure that you're communicating with your client along the way, and whatever thought pops into your head, that you're relaying that information to them and building that trust, so that when you show up on shoot day, they know exactly what you're gonna do, when you're gonna do it, and how you're gonna do it. So when we showed up to the shoot, the client actually asked us to switch up the schedule, which was no big deal because we already had a plan of action for the coverage we were going to do. Now remember, essentially we had 3 different types of projects within this one project in one day. We had the staff and team portraits, we had the walkthrough video, and then we had pickup B-roll and photography of the facility. So our initial plan was get the easiest bit of coverage out of the way, and that was the facility B-roll and photography. There wasn't a big setup. We just had to grab our camera and just go and capture content of the facility, of people working, of their printers and their machines. So that was easy. So we were like, yeah, let's knock it out. And as we were about to do that, the client was like, hey, can you guys actually do the staff and team portraits? So we were like, okay, no big deal, because we knew exactly how we were going to execute each said thing. So when the client asked us to switch up the schedule a little bit, hey, can you guys do the staff and team portraits so that they can get back to work and they don't have to, wait around? No worries. It allowed us to knock out the hardest part of the day out, which was nice, and it actually freed up the rest of the day for us to calmly knock out the walkthrough video and the facility B-roll and photos. So let me quickly walk you through our setup for these staff photos and individual portraits. For the main cam, we used our Nikon ZR, obviously. The Red Scarlet doesn't shoot photos. So we used our Nikon ZR and we slapped on the trusted Sigma 24-70. Our lighting setup was rather large, but simple enough to set up for the two of us, me and my wife. For our main key light, we used the Aperture 600D, and we slapped on the Aperture 150 softbox. That thing is huge and gives you a massive coverage, especially for individual portraits. We also set up a large 8x8 frame overhead with a 200 watt light blasting through it to give a nice coverage of the background and to fill in their hair a little bit. Really, the top down was just our base light, just to kind of fill in some gaps, fill in some shadows. This client wasn't into dramatic shadows, so we wanted to start off with a nice base layer, our top down, to fill in some of those shadows in the background and in their clothes. For the team portrait, if someone was far away from the key light, this would really help fill in some of those shadows. And our last light we set up was a fill light. We had another 200 watt light opposite of our key light with another large softbox to fill in some of the shadows on the opposite side of the key light. Now remember, this is very important when you're working inside a large facility. The lighting in large factory facilities are always going to flicker. So you have to be aware that. Always check your work on set. Don't just rely on getting back home and you're like, I'm good, I'm solid. Make sure you check it, because there were a few shots where I had a normal 180 degree shutter angle, and when I did my take, I checked it afterwards and there was large flicker from the lighting overhead. So make sure you check that. Definitely saved a couple of my shots where I had to go back, do it again because the flicker was just too distracting. So I think I bumped it up to 240 or something like that, just bumped the shutter angle up just a bit to cover some of that flicker from the lighting overhead. So as soon as we got our lighting set up, my camera was on a tripod, it didn't move. I literally locked it in place so that I didn't get any different looks or different shots. It was just clean, simple, and consistent. For the portraits, I basically had my lens around 50 mil, which is an average portrait, waist up shot. This wasn't a headshot where it was, where I would probably use an 85, something like that. They wanted a slightly wider waist up shot. Also, the client requested a white backdrop for the individual portraits and the team photo. Now, the individual portraits were easy, simple to do. The team portrait though, that was fun. That was a challenge because they also wanted the team portrait to be in front of a white backdrop. Now, this particular client had around 19 staff members that they wanted in the photo. So 19 staff members, to fit them inside a, 8-foot wide backdrop is impossible. So what we had to do is we had to composite them. We actually took different groups. Now you can do this individually. You can shoot one person at a time, 19 people, and shoot 19 photos and then composite them into one photo in Photoshop. What we did was we took 4 people at a time so that it sped up our process in the editing room. So essentially we took 4 people and 4, 8, 12, 16 in 4 groups. And then our last group was a group of 3. And then we used that and composited that in Photoshop. Turned out great. Client loved it. That's a simple, not so simple way to go about having a large team and a large staff in one photo with a white backdrop. So that's one hack or one cheat if you are shooting a large team photo and need them in front of a white backdrop. Composite them together in Photoshop, you're good to go. Now, as soon as we finished up with the staff and individual portraits, we moved on to the walkthrough video with the president of the company. So a little side note that you can add to any one of your client projects is to try to shoot the interview before you shoot the B-roll. Because once you hear what they have to say in their interview, that then will give you an idea of what B-roll to capture. So once we filmed the walkthrough video, we then had ammo and an idea of what B-roll to capture and what photos to focus on. Otherwise, we're just shooting in the dark, just trying to get everything like a chicken with his head cut off, just going around this massive facility trying to get each machine or each, process. But once we heard the president talking about specific people and that they've been there for 30 years and this machine is something that is unique to them, that then gave us an idea of what B-roll to film. So keep that in mind for your client projects when you're doing a brand video or, interview with B-roll. Shoot the interview first. That will then give you an idea of what B-roll to capture. Now, the walkthrough video was really simple. We had the Nikon ZR on a gimbal, specifically the DJI RS2. I'm not sure about all the new gimbals. We haven't tried them out. I like the RS2. It's fine. Works for me. I don't know the new upgrades with the newer gimbals. Maybe they hold bigger weight capacities. I really hate gimbals that have a ton of stuff on it. So once I got the Nikon ZR, I blew the cobwebs off that gimbal and I brought it back out because I hadn't used it in forever because we have a Scarlett and I'm never putting that on there. It just doesn't work. It's manual focus. Guys, trust me, I've gone down the rabbit hole with trying to put manual focus or use manual focus on a gimbal, a big setup on a gimbal. It's just not fun. As soon as I got the Nikon ZR, I was like, yeah, we're strapping that to the gimbal. And yeah, it's fun, easy, gets the job done, gives you stable shots. Anyways, we used the Nikon ZR on the RS2 for our main camera setup. And for the walkthrough, we had one camera. We didn't have an intricate setup with 2 cameras. It didn't need that. We just needed one camera because any cutaways, we're going to cut away to B-roll of the facility. So we have our camera on a gimbal. We also had a Amaran F22 on wheels. So we were basically wheeling that around and giving the client a nice eye light. This is a key separator between some beginner production teams and a more advanced production team. Taking your walkthrough and talking head videos up another echelon, just add that little baby eye light. That's all you need. Doesn't need to be fancy, doesn't need to be a massive setup. We had an Amaran F22 probably at 10%. I didn't even really care for the light on her face. I mainly wanted to see a catch light in her eye. This really brings your client to life and separates them from the background. Because when you're watching this video and you see that catch light in your eye, you're immediately drawn to their eyes. So that was a little detail that we added to our walkthrough video, was adding that Amaran F22 on wheels. We also had a choice between a lavalier mic and a boom mic. We went with both. The reason why we didn't just rock a lavalier mic is because I believe a boom mic sounds 10 times better.
And behind me is where we bring your concepts to life. And behind me is where we bring your concepts to life.
Especially when you're in a facility like this, there's tons of noise, there's machines, I mean, all that stuff. It's beautiful noise that you want to have in your walkthrough video because she's talking about the facility. So we went with the boom. We had her laved up as backup because if the boom didn't work out or whatever, but hey, the boom worked out, sounded fantastic, and just gives you that room tone, that ambience that you need in a specific video like this.
And behind me is where we bring your concepts to life and create the magic for all your folding carton needs. Domingo, who's been here for 30 years, is the one who keeps a close eye on the color and the consistency in your brand. Behind me is the newest addition to the Steward printing presses. This is the Nil Peter FA17. This is the only press with this configuration in the United States right now.
My wife just boomed it out easy and just held it for a few seconds while she talked about that specific station. Now, I mentioned station because we didn't do this all in one take, like MTV Cribs or something with a fisheye lens. No, we started in one spot, we moved to the next one, cut, move to the next one, cut, move to the next one, done. So it wasn't a one take Drake where we had to, stress ourselves out, stress the client out to be perfect. It was literally one take. And even within the stations, again, we're not dealing with paid actors. We're not dealing with professional actors. We're dealing with real clients that may or may not be in front of a camera every day. So to ease your client's mind, you want to make sure that you're always explaining to them, hey, remember, you're not going to be on screen the whole time. There's going to be B-roll. Explain to them what the video is going to look like at the end of the day. There's going to be B-roll. If you mess up, it's fine. Just pause, breathe, smile, and go back into it. So if you mess up, maybe you cussed and you said something you didn't mean to say. No big deal. Just pause and jump back in there. So that's how you make your client feel at peace, at ease, to not have to be perfect. And read the room. If they're struggling with a specific line or sentence or a paragraph, chop it up for them. If they can't get through the full paragraph, cut it in half. Say, hey, that's good right there. Hey, actually, if you want to just cut this in half, say that line, pause, we'll cut it there, no worries. We'll add B-roll, don't worry about it. There's all kinds of ways to make your client feel at peace, at ease, because at the end of the day, remember, they're not paid actors. They're not normally in front of the camera. Make them feel at peace. Chop it up for them, let them know how the edit's going to be. There's going to be B-roll. So that's always a good approach. And then they now recognize you as not just the person that's coming to press buttons and record them and then give them an edit, but you're also educating them, showing them that you are the person that they can go to for help and that you also bring peace to a situation, not chaos. So remember that. Bring peace, not chaos. Also remember this rule of thumb when shooting walkthrough videos. It's audio first, lighting second, camera third. Because if you didn't get good audio, you're screwed. Remember, if you got good audio but got crummy video, you can always place B-roll on top of this. It's a walkthrough video. It should be focused 99% of the time on the actual facility. So don't stress over getting the perfect shot or getting incredible lighting for a walkthrough video. It's audio first, lighting, then your camera. So having the Nikon ZR, autofocus, I mean, even if my white balance was totally messed up, I know I can change it in post. It's red raw. I can change my white balance, my ISO later. So even if I screwed up all my settings, which I didn't, fix it in pre. I know the rule, fix it in pre, but with red, you can fix it in post. Anyways, I had it all dialed in. Don't worry about me. I had it dialed in, but it was really something that I thought of third and last because I knew that the audio was going to be the most important aspect of this walkthrough video. So dial in that audio, make sure it's clean, crystal, and solid because your client will definitely notice if you got bad audio for their walkthrough video. All right, so now after the walkthrough video, we dove into facility B-roll and photos of the process of this printing company. So Vanessa and I split up. We went around different spots. I had a gimbal at one time. I went handheld, and we just got loads of content. Now, the idea for B-roll and photos works the same. So having a camera like the Nikon ZR where I can shoot video and photo in the same spot is really, really clutch. So the approach is the same. Shoot wide, then start creeping in tighter and tighter. So I feel like the temptation with a lot of creatives is to get really tight right away. And then most of the time you go back home and you're like, oh crap, I forgot to get any wide shots. So the idea, if you're shooting facility B-roll or anything that revolves around production or a company that needs B-roll for their operations, is to start wide, knock that out of the way because you're usually going to forget about the wide shot. So make sure you purposely start wide so that you can get your wide shots, then start coming into hands and tight details, machines, whatever it is that you're shooting. So start wide, then creep in tight. Also, when you're shooting people, please don't be creepy. Don't be that guy that's hiding behind a bookshelf or hiding behind a cabinet. And then they look over and they're like, who's that guy? Introduce yourself, say hi. Hey, I'm gonna be shooting some B-roll of you doing your thing. Don't worry about me. I'm a fly on the wall. I'm not even here. Most of the time, if you introduce yourself, they'll feel more comfortable. They aren't looking at you all the time. They know the plan. Tell them, don't look at me. I'm not here. That's the idea. So, if it's a really quick shot and you're really far away and you're shooting with an 85 or something, sure, maybe you can get away with a quick shot and they may not even notice. If you've already made eye contact and you're looking at each other and then you turn away and you're weird, it's going to be weird. So you make that eye contact, go up to them. Hey, man, hey, what's up? I'm just shooting some B-roll of the facility of you guys doing your thing. Don't worry about me. Make that introduction. It goes a long way. Remember, they're going to be talking about you. They're going to be talking about you in the break room over lunch, over some Jimmy John sandwiches. And either they're going to be talking about you in a weird way. That guy was weird. He didn't even say hi. He was kind of creepy, shooting photos of me. Like, I don't know what he was doing, what he's going to use those photos for. Or this guy was cool. He was awesome. Said hi to me. He or she was really nice. They're kind. That goes a long way. I guarantee you, the top of the client at the top, the president, they're going to be hearing this stuff, and they're going to want to hire you, not because you shot cool things or because you brought cool cameras, but because you were nice, you were kind, and you were thoughtful and said hi. It goes a long way. So my wife Vanessa and I had really different roles while we were shooting B-roll. She was mainly shooting just locked 24 frames action, because the idea was to allow the action to be the movement in the frame. It gets a little jarring when you have action or movement in the frame and you are also moving along with it. Now remember, there's a difference. If you're shooting 24 frames, I always lean on the side of not moving at all. Just let whatever it is in the frame move for you. In our case, it was a machine like a printer that pumping out cardboard boxes or popping out labels, and just allowing that machine to be the movement in the scene. If you're shooting 60 frames, then you can get away with adding a little pan or a little parallax. No big deal, because you're going to be able to slow that down, and when you slow it down, you need as much movement and action as possible. But that 24 frames, oh, I love those type of shots where you're just standing there, you don't move, just hold your rig and just let the movement happen. So simple, but so satisfying. So while she was getting 24 frames, I was kind of getting a mixture. 24 frames, 60 frames. I was shooting photos. The Nikon ZR is truly a do-it-all camera. So it was really fun to just switch back and forth between photo and video, 24 frames, 60 frames, put it on a gimbal, go handheld. I mean, there's so many different flavors and so many different ways to shoot with this camera. It's incredible and really, really dynamic in those types of situations. Hey, hopefully you guys enjoyed this walkthrough of a walkthrough video in BTS and photos and portraits for a real paid client gig. And that truly is a big differentiating factor between our YouTube channel and other YouTubers out there, is that we are truly out there in the wild. All of the shooting tips and all of the gear have been tested and proven, not just in a laboratory or in our studio, but out there in the real world for real paid clients. So if you guys have any comments, any questions for us, make sure you drop that down below. If you guys like our videos, hey, stay tuned. We got more content coming in the new year. Hit that subscribe button, give us a like, share it to your family, show some love. Hey, hopefully you guys had a fantastic Christmas, fantastic time with your family. Happy New Year to all of you out there. We appreciate you guys a ton, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.